A mass rally protesting free-to-air TV license decision. 9 people injured in an acid attack in Chengsha-Wan. And JP Morgan Chase to pay a $13 billion fine.
Good evening. A mass rally is being held at the central government offices to protest against the recent decision not to give Hong Kong Television Network a free-to-air TV licence. HKTV supporters say 120,000 were at Tamar just a short while ago, while police put the figure at around 20,000 at the peak of the rally. As Stephanie Choi reports, protesters are unhappy with how the government has handled the decision-making process.
One of the groups involved in today's rally was Free TV Action, a movement initiated by the creators of a Facebook page rooting for Hong Kong Television Network. So, what's angering these netizens?
We don't want to just watch only one channel. You know, nowadays actually the channels and the TV program are so narrow.
I think that is Ricky Wong does not meet the commitment of the government or of the Beijing, so that the government do not give the free TV license to him.
A good portion of the pages have 1 million supporters gathered in Causeway Bay, wielding props and banners as they slammed the government and local television networks. At one point, they broke past a barrier set up by the police, occupying all 3 lanes of Hennessy Road. Most of the ralliers here today are wearing black to object to the government's blacking out of details as to why Hong Kong Television failed to get a free TV license. At the Central Ferry Pier, around 2,000 Hong Kong Television Network staff members gathered in another rally against the government.
They can have all the other means to make the way that easier for us to accept, but they didn't. They choose not to. They just announced it no. So it's not giving any respect to its citizens.
People will not trust the government because they are not giving a clear instruction and also giving a very unfair example of how they rule the Hong Kong.
Both groups of protesters called on the government to make its free TV licensing criteria plain and clear. But a small group of people think the government made the right move. 7 protesters showed their support for the Executive Council's decision, saying it did the right thing by staying confidential. They praised the government for having standards when giving out free TV licenses.
Well, we're going to cross over now to Stephanie in Tamar, where she's going to update us on the situation. Steph, the rally is still going strong, it seems.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Sonia. As you can see here behind me, there are still quite a lot of people gathered here at the central government offices, even though the rally has ended. And organizers say that the protesters are staying behind at their own will and that they're going to stay here overnight. Now, Hong Kong Television Network employees also said that tomorrow night they're going to start screening their own TV programs to show that the people should have the power to decide what's shown on TV and not the government. And that's all I have for you right now. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, thanks very much, Stephanie. And that was Stephanie Choi reporting live from Tamar. Well, despite people taking to the streets today protesting against the Chief Executive in Council's decision not to grant a free-to-air TV licence to Hong Kong Television Network, government officials continue to insist the decision was fair and just. Evelyn Leung has more.
Why 2, not 3? That's a question people have been asking the government ever since the new free-to-air TV license decision was announced. Executive Council convener Lam Wun Kwong admitted today that the decision is quite controversial. But he said the government had already given its explanation.
I think it would be unfair to say that the government has not explained. The government, I think Mr. Gregory So has explained the criteria for making the decision. It's just that some people consider it not acceptable to them.
Secretary for Justice Rimsky Yoon, who's also an EXCO member, said the Council's confidentiality rules should not be changed because of a particular incident. No matter how many companies apply for a license, we carefully scrutinize and discuss every application and ask the applicants to respond to our questions, Yoon said. Another EXCO member, Bernard Chan, said he respects people's right to seek judicial review of EXCO's decision. The Commerce and Economic Development Bureau issued a statement today explaining why details of EXCO's decision-making process cannot be made public. The Bureau pointed out that an application for a judicial review was filed 4 days ago, so it is inappropriate to make public the details as it could affect the conduct of the legal proceedings concerned. It added that commercially sensitive information or even commercial secrets of the free-to-air TV license applicants was reviewed during EXCO meetings, and making the information public may cause damage to them and create legal disputes. The Bureau stressed there was no political consideration during EXCO's decision-making process, and there was no question of protecting existing interests either. The main aim of granting 2 free-to-air licenses is to increase competition in the market and allow it to develop in a healthy and orderly manner. Evelina Lang, TVB News.
One of the recently elected members of the Arts Development Council says EXCO's decision to grant only 2 additional free-to-air TV licenses will not substantially change Hong Kong's media scene. Lo Wai Look also says the government has remained silent over the rejection of Hong Kong Television Network's application because it has no substantive reasons to back its decision. Joel De Silva reports.
In an exclusive interview with TVB, Lo Wai Look joined a chorus of voices slamming EXCO's decision not to grant Hong Kong Television Network a free-to-air TV license. He believes the granting of 2 additional licenses will not result in more competition in the television market.
The fact is, this decision does not alter the media ecology. So because the Hong Kong TV is a major competitor of TVB, because it will produce drama. So this decision means that we will keep the pleasant media ecology. We will keep the status quo of the Hong Kong media.
Lo also said the government has remained silent over the reasons leading to EXCO's decision because it lacks a solid explanation.
The government not giving refusing to give us an explanation, what do you think that reflects?
It reflects the reason is not strong.
On a different note, Lo spoke of a need to regulate the activity of street performers in Hong Kong. Mong Kok's busy pedestrian zone has become the stage for many such artists, which has resulted in an increasing number of complaints. Lo says these artists add to Hong Kong's character, but rules should be put in place forbidding dangerous performances and setting where and at what time of the day they are allowed to take place. Joel De Silva, TVB News.
Total of 9 people were injured earlier today after they were hit by drain cleaning liquid during a dispute between 2 stall holders at the Cheung Sha Wan market. Some of the victims suffered severe burns. Rachel Lung reports.
The incident took place at a fruit stall at the Po Am Road wet market in Cheung Sha Wan. Police returned to the scene to conduct their investigation. A fruit stall owner got into a quarrel with the owner of the next stall. Police say the 57-year-old stall owner then splashed drain cleaner at the other stall owner, injuring some shoppers in the process. Police have arrested the man for wounding. An initial investigation revealed that the 2 have clashed before on a number of occasions. All of those injured were taken to the hospital, including a police officer. The case has been transferred to the Regional Crime Unit for further investigation. Rachel Lang, TVB News.
Turning overseas now, U.S. banking giant J.P. Morgan Chase is set to pay a massive $13 billion fine to settle investigations into mortgage-backed securities it sold prior to the financial crisis of 2008. A tentative deal was reportedly reached with the U.S. Justice Department on Friday, but it doesn't let the firm off the hook, as it will still have to cooperate with an ongoing criminal probe into the bank's activities.
It's not been a great year for J.P. Morgan Chase.
Last month, it was fined nearly $1 billion for a series of disastrous trades by a former employee nicknamed the London Whale. Now the bank will potentially have to pay far more this time round, after it was reportedly fined $13 billion to settle an official probe into the quality of the mortgage-backed securities it sold prior to the global financial crisis of 2008. The US housing collapse and the subsequent meltdown of these related securities was a key factor in unleashing the financial tsunami which followed. Sources say US Attorney General Eric Holder, the Associate Attorney General, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, and the bank's General Counsel negotiated the tentative settlement in a Friday night phone call. As part of the deal, the US Justice Department expects the bank to cooperate with the ongoing criminal probe into its issuance of mortgage-backed securities between 2005 and 2007. If the agreement is finalized, it would be the US government's highest-profile enforcement action related to the financial meltdown, a disaster which plunged America and much of the world into the deepest recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Mounting legal costs from all these proceedings pushed JP Morgan Chase to a rare loss in the third quarter this year. The bank reported it set aside $9.2 billion in the July-September quarter to cover a string of litigation stemming from the financial crisis and the London Whale trading debacle. Tens of thousands marched through the streets of Rome to oppose cuts to welfare programs and a shortage in low-income housing. Anti-austerity protesters in the Italian capital threw eggs and firecrackers at the finance ministry building during yesterday's rally. Police said 11 people were detained in scuffles with officers. There were moments of tension when demonstrators passed near the headquarters of the extreme right-wing group Casa Pound, but police intervened when a few bottles were thrown. And anti-austerity protesters also held rallies in Portugal, demonstrating against new wage and pension cuts, which were announced in the country's budget for 2014. The protesters demanded the resignation of the government and called on the country's highest court to reject the budget bill. The bill, approving the new round of cuts, was passed earlier in the week to meet the terms of Portugal's international bailout. Portugal's constitutional court has the power to block key spending cuts, especially those related to wages and pensions in the public sector. We're back tonight with more local news. New MTR memory chip smart tickets for single journeys came into use today. Olympic Station is the first MTR station where passengers can buy the smart tickets, but not the old magnetic strip tickets. The ticket issuing systems of other stations will gradually be converted. As Kirti Nanwani reports, for passengers using the new tickets, it's touch and go at the entry gate and insert and exit when they arrive at their destinations.
After more than 30 years in use, the MTR's magnetic strip single journey tickets will gradually become a part of history. They're now being replaced by memory chip smart tickets. Olympic Station on the Tungchung line today became the first station to use a new ticket issuing system. Some railway fans came as early as 7 a.m. to check it out.
Very convenient to entrance and exit.
While others found it a bit tricky. The MTR Corporation reassured passengers that measures have been implemented to assist them with the changes.
Today, we have deployed around 100 ambassadors around the system. In addition, our station's operation staffs have also been enhanced, and so as to provide assistance to our customer timely.
The gates for the new smart tickets are in blue to make it easy for people to identify them.
The new tickets are just like octopus cards. Just place them over the sensor and just insert the smart card into the gate to get out. The MTRC says the smart cards are much more durable and can be used up to 200 times.
Kam Sheung Road Station on the West Rail Line will be the next station to adopt the new system. By the middle of next year, all 82 MTR stations will be converted. But before the whole conversion process is completed, at least one entry and one exit gate will be maintained at each station for the old magnetic strip tickets. Kirti Nandwani, TVB News.
Liberal Party members and residents held a protest today against a plan to turn a historic Peak mansion into a hotel. They marched from the Peak Galleria to the site on Lugard Road. Some brought their dogs along. They said the hotel's development will block the path, which is popular with dog walkers. Party members also said the development will increase traffic on the Peak, possibly leading to dangerous situations. Protesters tied ribbons at the potential hotel gate to symbolize their objection to the plan.
A train carrying crude oil and liquefied petroleum gas derailed west of the Canadian city of Edmonton yesterday, causing an explosion and fire, but no injuries. The train was traveling from Edmonton to Vancouver when it came off the tracks at around 1 a.m. in the hamlet of Gainford. One rail car carrying LPG gas exploded and 3 others also caught fire. Emergency crews battled the flames and about 100 residents were evacuated from Gainford. Authorities later decided to wait for the flames to burn themselves out after no further explosions from the 13 rail cars were expected. The derailment has renewed questions about the safety of crude oil transportation by rail. Just 3 months ago, an unattended train with 72 tankers of oil rolled into a small town in Quebec, triggering explosions that killed 47 people. Yesterday's incident is likely to fan opposition to the growing use of rail to move crude oil as oil producers in Canada seek alternatives to congested pipelines. In Argentina, at least 80 people were injured, many seriously, after a train crash at a railway station in Buenos Aires. The train smashed through the bumper at the end of the Sarmiento line, almost reaching the turnstiles. The wrecked train ended up wedged between the floor and the ceiling of the platform at the Once station. There were no reports of death, but 35 people were rushed to hospitals for serious injuries. Firefighters, police, and medical personnel evacuated most passengers, while others kicked out windows to escape. The accident took place at the same station where 52 people were killed in a similar crash last year.
11 people were killed in Belgium overnight when a plane carrying a group of skydivers crashed soon after takeoff. Minutes after the aircraft took off from a small airfield, witnesses saw part of a wing break off, sending the plane into a nosedive. It crashed into a field, leaving no survivors. Officials say no one on the ground was hurt. The group had reportedly planned the skydive to celebrate a birthday.
And that's our news. Thanks for watching.
Good night.